1. And that's got to play. Hey, there's some music.
I was about to do
it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 405. Love 405. My favorite freeway.
The 405?
No, it is not. It is my least favorite. Yeah, I hate the 405. Anyway, hello, welcome to episode 405 for Wednesday, February 24th, 2020. My name is Russell Frost. I am your host this week. And look at the amazing panel that we've assembled. Not the largest panel, but the quality panel. That's what and I'm going to stick to that. Okay? It's quality, not quantity.
All right.
So let's introduce these folks and get this show on the road. My co-host and good friend and sometime Blackhawk fan. I'm seeing the sweater in the back. Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Yes, Hawks are killing it right now. The Blackhawks have won every game they've played against Canadian teams so far this year. Or I should say, not that they've won, they've never lost to a Canadian team in 2021. See?
And the reason for that, Tony?
They only had one?
I have no idea. They're just that good.
Oh no, that's not the reason.
Yes, the whole shakeup in the NHL. The Hawks are.
The reason is all the Canadian teams play in their own division, and the American teams play in their own division.
Coronavirus sequestering and all of that. The northern. What is it? The northern.
Tony, are you cheating?
Yeah.
Are you cheating? Are you really? I mean,
no.
Yeah, I figured there'd be at least one in there to make that a true statement. If they never actually played any, then yeah, they didn't lose.
Yeah, I know.
But they didn't win.
That's why you have to say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So that would have been a not the whole truth sort of statement.
A lie by omission.
Anyway,
Mr. Schaefer.
I am drinking, Cashmere Hammer Nitro Stouts. I don't know if you can see that.
Cashmere
I am
Hammer.
personally giving a shout out to all of our audio listeners. Our numbers have gone up. Shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for subscribing. And hopefully we'll put on a pretty good show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And our membership option opened today where you can see exclusive members-only content. Patrick and I arguing to the death. And I won't one of us emerged victorious, but notice who isn't on the show tonight. Just saying.
Coincidence?
If you saw him on the Tesla Life, that may have been pre-recorded. That's all I'm saying. You can see that content at youtube.com/whatdrivesus. And for a mere $1.99 a month, we appreciate your support and you get some cool stuff that nobody else gets. Next up, our friend in the Mid-Atlantic region, our supercharger expert and resident in-house chili pepper grower, Mr. Kacey Green.
How's it going, everybody? I just got done shooting a video where somebody had asked about what happens if you put your finger in the Tesla icebreaker on the Model X. It did not go as planned.
That's worth the watch right there.
If I was a cartoon character, question marks would be shooting out of my head right now, just everywhere, all around it. Like I have no clue what you're talking about. But check out Kacey's channel.
I would have watched it if it wouldn't have been finger, but no.
Well, I mean, I park facing a public road. If you were to do anything else, the police might get involved.
That took a turn for the ugly
might not.
way. And last and certainly not least, our friend and host of the Tesla Life, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show, and I am certainly glad to hear that the What Drives Us Thunderdome is now open for business. 2 enter, 1 leaves.
People pay good money for that.
Right.
I got, you know what? I'm not going there today. I'm going to be good. Let's get to our first news story. And it's from me because it's my favorite company, Uber. Yes. The crooked, law-breaking, horrible, evil, demonic company. Uber was in the news today. Why? Because Uber managed to convince Google to delete a Chrome extension. A gentleman named, Armin Sammy or Armin Sami, perhaps, I'm not sure. We're going to say Armin Sami, created a Chrome extension called Uber Cheats. And basically what it did was Uber drivers could put in their deliveries for the day, and it would sort of double check Uber's figures. And I say sort of double check because Uber, let's just say, has a long and very well documented history of underpaying drivers and cheating drivers out of getting a few miles, all this kind of crap. And this extension helped the drivers know. So, of course, Uber would go to Google and say, you've got to delete this because they're using our trademark intellectual property, our name. And wow. So Google, of course, being champion of the little guy, capitulated immediately and deleted the extension. Yeah.
But aren't they just going to open up tomorrow as Sluber Cheats?
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
This was mentioned in the Vice article about it, and to his credit or not, Mr. Sami, the creator of the app, felt that it was less than principled to change the name because he wasn't really banking, you know what I mean? And he doesn't want to, so he wants to fight it out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not using Uber's trademark in the same way that they imply he is. He's calling them filthy, dirty thieves.
Yeah.
That's more of a statement.
This, Russell, you have experience with Prius Owners Group.
Yes.
We've seen the cease and desist letters from Toyota for Prius Chat.
Yes.
This is another thing where not attempting to confuse consumers by representing the company. And that was one of the silly arguments in the statement that Uber filed with Google, saying that people may download this extension believing that it is actually the Uber app.
Uber only offers mobile apps.
It doesn't. They don't. This whole thing doesn't do anything for Uber. You put in a start and a destination, and it routes you and tells you the distance. That's all that it does. And Uber's like, well, it's confusing to the consumer.
The drivers are not consumers; they are independent contractors. So say proposition whatever.
Right.
5?
But Uber's argument, now I'm standing on their side of the fence, is that it was downloadable to anyone. Anyone who went to the Google store or whatever the hell it's called could look at this and say, oh, I went to Uber app, so I can order Uber, and then they download it. It's
Perhaps
one
they
of
should
those
start
things,
the web app.
well, somebody would download it and they would say, well, this isn't what I thought it was, and they would delete it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, Uber cheats? Yeah. I don't want that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want lunch at all.
I'm waiting for the headline that says that Uber sues the German language for infringing on their trademark.
Repeatedly.
Yes. That's coming.
Especially with the umlauts. They used to have umlauts on their logo.
Yeah. Yeah. They jazzed it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just stupid. Although I will say one thing that I think is funny is when I first read that Uber got Uber Cheats removed from Google, I misread it and originally thought it said that Uber got Uber Eats removed from Google. I was like,
we don't want to bring you a sandwich.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can see them doing that too.
Well, suffice to say, Uber's still an evil piece of shit. That's just my opinion. And I used Uber's name, and I welcome their legal team to send us a cease and desist for saying Uber sucks. Don't use Uber. How's that?
You did say one thing, Russell, that got me thinking. You had mentioned Uber's long and well-documented history of cheating drivers. And, one example in this Vice article was, the guy was, he was paid for 1 mile. It ended up being a 4-mile delivery. And then he realized that what it was is that Uber just drew a straight line.
Through the
assuming
building.
that this guy is going to fly over buildings, or walk through buildings or whatever.
It'd probably still be 1.3 miles because you got to go up and then come back down.
Yeah, right. And you think about it, and Uber just has to cheat a little bit each time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was it Superman 2 and Office Space. All you're doing is rounding the pennies. But
Do
when
you
you
remember the
look
give
at
and
the
take a,
number,
take a penny? Yeah, we just taking a million pennies.
yes, and they're just doing it for every single person a little bit, hopefully just a little bit enough that they don't notice or don't care. And then they're playing the magnification game and cheating as many people as they can for as little as they can get away with.
They probably want the account to grow as fast as it did in the movie.
Grubhub does the same thing.
Oh,
They play the
but
same game.
They do even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, here's some fees, and then they charge the restaurant the same fees.
Yeah. And then charge the drivers and everything else. Well, on that somewhat depressing story, let's hear about something exciting and fun. And oh, wait, no. Damn it. Tony has a story about Hyundai. Or, as Mark Hawken would say, Hyundai.
It wasn't the one I expected when I saw their name either.
So, Hyundai, I'm trying to get every possible
Like Sunday.
global pronunciation.
That Korean
Right.
company that makes cars.
Yes, that makes cars. Yeah. So Hyundai asked to recall their cars. The South Korean government is forcing them to recall their cars. If you remember, there was a limited recall that Hyundai did previously to reprogram some of the cars for the charging strategy because some of them kind of caught on fire. And Hyundai said, well, I'll tell you what, don't charge past 90% at high speed charging and then have your cars flashed and you'll be fine. And then it turns out that one of the cars that had the previous recall performed caught on fire. So now the South Korean government gets involved and they're like, okay, no, you're going to recall all the cars and you're going to replace all the batteries. And Hyundai said, well, now wait a minute. LG made the batteries. We just installed them. So you need LG to pay for this. And of course, you know, Hyundai's doing this and LG's doing that because it's an LG part in a Hyundai car. And LG is accusing Hyundai of using incorrect strategies for proper battery management in their software. And so therefore Hyundai is to blame. This opens up a whole can of worms. And I don't see that this is much different than internal combustion engine cars. This just happens to be the first major component recall for an electric vehicle. You know, the battery doesn't get much more major component than that. But imagine a manufacturer such as Ford, who is buying engines from an engine manufacturer, and now you have engines blowing gaskets or blowing rods or whatever. And Ford is made to recall the cars because of the engines that somebody else made. It's the same scenario, just now with electric vehicles. And I wanted to get you guys' thought on this. Would it make more sense for manufacturers to make their own batteries, or just be more careful in how the batteries are installed, and that kind of stuff?
I would say that who collected the money in the first place when the car was sold? Well, that would be Hyundai. So guess what? They're responsible for all the warranty issues.
Yeah, and then they can collect later from LG.
Yeah, if they're going to hire somebody to do piecemeal work to do their job for them, if they're going to buy parts from somebody else, then they're taking on that responsibility because they're putting it in their car with their badge and they're collecting the money. So guess what? It's their fault.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen manufacturers start their own batteries and they do well, but there aren't enough to serve the demand. So these third-party manufacturers are still going to have business for at least the next 5-6 years because we just need more batteries than there are out there. And this then draws the question to me, is this the same LG cells as what happened in the Chevy Bolt, the older ones, the Bolt EV? And they had the same situation. You had to cap them at 90% or they'd catch fire.
Yeah, and I had seen references, but nothing that said that they were the exact same, battery.
Oh, it's part number 02, not part number 01, but still LG.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. Yeah.
But I mean, as long as they do the right thing for the customer, I mean, these two big companies, they can coast and they can work it out together. There's no need to put the end user in the middle of this fight. Just fix it so their houses don't catch fire, their cars don't catch fire, and then we just go on. I mean, look at GM. They've started their own batteries. They're using a different part number. Just do the same thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that it's quite a bit of battery replacement that the
Yes.
South Korean government is requiring them to do. So that's going to be a serious hit on the bottom dollar for them, replacing that many batteries completely. It's the amount of time to take a battery out and ship a new unit, and the customer being inconvenienced for a period of time. It's going to add up to quite a bit of money.
A little time. They got to wait for a new battery to get built and shipped, and there are not enough of them already. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark, you're not suggesting that structural battery packs are a bad idea, are you?
no. You just unbolt them and put a new
Not
one
if
in.
you made the battery correct in the first place. No.
That too.
Right. Well, yeah. There's never a problem if it's correct in the first place.
And I agree with you completely. How's that? Both of you.
But this does bring up a topic that I kind of wanted. I was hoping Paul would be on this show because, of course, we know that Paul takes cars apart and puts them back together. That's sort of what he does.
And none
But,
of us do that. Yeah.
I mean, conceptually, I think we know what goes into it. But yeah, personally, I've never removed them.
I think we could take them apart, Tony. I just don't think we could put them back together.
Yeah, that's true. No one pays Paul to take stuff apart. They pay him to put it back together.
Right. There we go.
But when you look at electric vehicles and you look at batteries and how clever manufacturers are becoming in using the battery as part of the frame as structural load, you look at the skateboard and how like Russell said, you have the battery becomes a structural component. What if something like this happens? And it doesn't even have to be a major $900 million recall, but
10 units,
a
yeah.
battery or two. Yeah, 10 units, 20 units.
So
You
when
would
that
have to
happens-
scrap the entire car.
No. So when that happens today, with the ones that are either just rolling out or the ones that are proposed, you'll unbolt 4 to 8 massive bolts, and then when you do that, you make sure that the car is supported. So when you put the new one in, that it still fits back in. You retorque them to the correct spec, put a little Loctite on there. Now, if you
Right.
built it so that this is part of the unibody, then you've got some dumb engineers.
Well, I mean, there's
Parts
you say
break.
dumb engineers, and some people might say clever. Some people
I mean,
might
clever,
say
yes,
ingenious.
but like you'd have to like you guys all said, you'd have to make sure that they never break if it's part of the unitized structure. Because like you said, you'd be throwing the whole car away if there's no way to unbolt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's a risk that some manufacturers might be willing to?
Eventually, somebody's going to do it to try and save a little bit of extra pennies on the bolts because they're not small
Yeah.
bolts.
Save on 6 bolts.
Yes. Well, they're going to be massive bolts because they have to be able to sustain the power that the car puts out, the weight that the customer's going to
Yep.
put on it, and then crash
75
test.
cents a bolt.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We
Hey,
saved
as
3
long
cents.
as it lasts, it just has to last 2 months out of warranty, and you're fine.
That's
2
right.
months out of
That's all it
warranty
has to
and the
do.
crash test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does bring up, just to me, the question. We talked about how simple electric vehicles are, and we know they are.
They are.
But should the simplicity continue into the manufacturing and the design and the reparability?
Yes, because
Oh,
if you're not throwing it away, then that is, the first R is reduce and reuse, right? So recycle is the last step.
Right.
But you'll notice things like even with the common cell phone. Remember when the first cell phones came out? All the batteries were removable.
Yeah.
Change the
You
battery.
could get extra batteries. You could charge them up, put them in the car, in the phone anytime you wanted. But as time went along, they wanted all the usable space they could to make the phone last longer. So they started to close the case. You could never open it anymore. And batteries became so reliable that you didn't have to replace the battery for any reason.
Until they caught fire.
It was good for the life of the phone in typical cases. So that may be where the car is heading as well. After a number of different iterations, the battery always works. It never has to be replaced, and that's when you'll find maybe a unibody showing up because they feel that after 5 years of testing, they've never had a problem, and that's typically when something like that will happen.
Yeah, we did see that BMW that was supposed to use the skin as a battery. The skin of the car doesn't come off very easily. But we also see today some Linux smartphones that are the same thickness as the iPhone and the Galaxy that still do sport removable batteries. So it's a matter of priority to the manufacturer if they want to allow us to be able to do the right thing.
Nice. Well, let's move on, and let's go to Mr. Mark Coughlin. That's your warning, Mark. Heads up. Let's go to Mr. Mark Coughlin for This Week in Tesla, because nothing happened this week. Thanks, Mark.
Nothing again. Yes.
Nothing
it's
again.
been 3 weeks now. Haven't had any news.
Nothing. No news at all.
I didn't think
Nothing.
so.
Didn't even hear a word about them. Except,
I remember when Tesla was in the news all the time.
Yeah. About 3 seconds ago. So what has happened this week in Tesla is it's all about the Model Y standard range. So we were talking about this on the Tesla Live today in some depth, some detail. The Model Y came out, of course, in a all-wheel drive long-range configuration. There was two options. There was the long-wheel all-wheel drive, and there was the long-wheel all-wheel drive performance. Those were the only options. There was talk about coming out with a rear-wheel drive long range. That never happened, but they did come out with a standard range rear-wheel drive. And that was kind of funny when it showed up because, of course, Elon had mentioned in a tweet that he wanted all vehicles to have a minimum of 250 miles of range, rated EPA range. And when the Model Y standard range came out, it was publicized as a 244 mile range. So 6 under. Now, some of us thought, well, maybe the EPA rated it just a little bit differently. Maybe Tesla's going to change the calibration. Maybe they're going to put in an extra AA battery to push it up to 250. But that didn't happen. It just started to sell at the 244. And what happened is people were ordering them. They were being shipped and delivered. There was talk about how they were starting to get heated steering wheels, and the cars were getting the new consoles. So things seemed to be rolling along. Then just last week, there was a price drop in the Model Y standard range, dropped by $1,000 as the Model 3 did.
How could that be?
It just dropped $1,000 right off.
Bitcoin.
Just the website changed overnight, and boom, it was $1,000 cheaper. So that was interesting, and of course, we've seen that happen before. It's gone up, it's gone down. There's different prices with Tesla. That happens quite often without warning.
Yeah, like if you're looking at a performance Model 3, it went up $1,000 or more.
so certainly, it as we say in the Tesla life, if you like the car and you have the money and you're ready to go, don't wait, because tomorrow it may change. Trust us, it does happen often. So to pull the trigger, if you're ready to pull the trigger, don't sit on the fence too long, or you may find yourself with no way off the fence. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
But anyways, the price goes down, and then 2 days later, the Model Y standard range disappears off the website. You can't order it. It's gone. It's no longer there. And people are freaking out. What's going on? I've already ordered one, or I was about to order one. What's happening? And they're calling their Tesla representatives at the stores. And the stores, of course, don't know what's going on either.
That sounds about right.
Most of them have no clue. They're just kind of, working through, trying to figure out, try to get answers for these clients, these customers. And the word is coming back from different sources that it's discontinued, or there's a delay, or there's a number of different reasons why it's not on the website anymore.
That reminds me of...
This goes on for a couple days. Like it's just this, there's no real answer. People are just getting different answers from different people. So we're not really sure what the real answer is. But then, of course, go ahead, Kacey.
that reminds me of that day that Elon said he was closing all the stores, and I happened to just pop into a store, and I'm like, "Hey, are you all right?" And they're like, "We don't know what's going on."
So this is par for the course.
Hilarious if you're not paying the rent. Yeah.
Exactly.
So again, a day and a half later, the word comes down from the Twitter king, and Mr. Elon Musk indicated that yes, the Model Y standard range is not up to par, and they're going to discontinue it. But if you really want it, you can order it as an off-menu item. So it's no longer on the website, but you can order it
pitch.
if you go to the Tesla store and ask to order one. Now, of course,
only because it got 244 and not 250.
That's what he says.
Well, that is there was no official answer as to why exactly that reason. It was just wasn't up to their their level of excellence, I believe it was put.
They have just like sold an accessory, like you could a tow behind diesel generator.
Like I said, a 4-pack of double A's, Tony, and we'd be up to 250.
Yeah, there you go. Just put a pack of double A's in the front. You're fine.
Yeah.
But this, of course, off menu is typically the first step in discontinue. So
it's true.
If you it may take a day, it may take a week, it may take a month, it may take 4 years, but this typically is what happens once it gets to an off-menu item. Of course, people don't see it, people don't think about it, people don't even include it as an option, and the volume just drops off, and eventually it gets axed.
I don't know about that. See, I don't know because Russell has been ordering off-menu at In-N-Out for years.
The day the last photocopied timeshare script is lost is the last day you can order it. Nobody knows the code to put in the computer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, that's kind of interesting news of what's going on this week. So if you wanted a Model Y standard range, order it now, because we don't know if it will be if it's long for this world or not. But I guess experience would say that it's on a timer now. So keep that in mind if you were considering buying one. It's time to move.
There you go.
Yeah, and next, there was a couple other stories. Of course, Russell's favorite topic is, of course, the Boring Company. So we had to throw in a topic of that because, of course, another city is considering getting a tunnel dug because it's vastly cheaper via the Boring Company than anybody else. And that city is Miami, Florida.
The driest city on earth.
Wait. You're gonna tunnel under Florida?
Yes.
Well, that is that's the thing. Miami, of course, is as everyone knows, is barely above water today.
Please be New Orleans. Please be New Orleans.
That would be awesome.
Of course, with climate change, Miami seems to be sinking every day too. So This is kind of interesting that the mayor of Miami and a couple of other associated mayors close to Miami have decided that this is a great idea, and they are off to schedule a visit to the Boring Company's two completed tunnels, one in Las Vegas and one in Hawthorne. And they're going to be visiting both of them apparently fairly soon to talk about some more details and what could be done in Miami.
Well, hopefully,
It's not going to be a tunnel. That's going to be a drain.
Hopefully, the one in Hawthorne is some renovations since we last saw it, because it had a lot of people talking trash.
The last time we heard, Jay Leno was still stuck in there with a Cybertruck. But hopefully they got him unstuck.
Or not. Yeah. Just seal it up and move on. Let go.
Yeah, you're right. Throw him in with a cask of Amontillado and we'll be fine.
Exactly.
And finally, just another story about the Model S refresh. So as we've talked about in the past, the Model S has been refreshed. It is it's going to be released later this month in one of the variants, and more will be coming. But what was kind of interesting was that a few of them, of course, have now been spotted in the wild on the streets, and people are now going up to them, taking photographs and asking to step inside them and videotaping the new look inside the car. But someone spotted kind of an interesting thing that we're going to share here right now.
I'm still wondering how they got inside the cars. They
Yeah.
used to run at illegal chase speeds away whenever you.
It's the hover model.
So everyone knows that the Tesla has a number of cameras on the car, and of course, one of those cameras is in the front quarter on both sides, and it's got this little bump on the both the Model 3 and Model Y and previous Model S's and X. But in the new refreshed one, the bump sticks out quite a bit. It is it's really larger, it looks like, and it's definitely got more girth to it than the previous one. And the thought is that since the Model S, the back end has got a little bit more chunky. It's got 2 motors in it now, or it can have up to 2 motors in it, and it's got a wider stance on the back. So the flare of the back tire, the surrounding quarter of that is probably protruding into what the camera is seeing for autopilot. So the thought is that it has to be a larger or stuck out a little bit further in order to be able to see around the chunkier back end of the new refreshed Model S. So that was kind of cool to see this on the street, and some of the details are starting to come to light as people are taking photos and getting up close with it.
That's something. I'm not sure about cool, but that's something.
Mark, we all know what's really in that bump, right?
Enlighten us, Russell. Let us know what is in there.
Here's the scoop. Here's the What Drives a Scoop right now for my friends at the Tesla Life. It's a LiDAR pod.
It's. I really don't think it's a LiDAR
A
pod.
little small for that, but it could be.
Yep. When Elon said he didn't want LiDAR, he meant he didn't want one LiDAR. He wanted 8 of them.
What is LiDARs? Plural. Right.
Yeah.
And with that, if you enjoy Tesla news, please follow us on our Twitter account, The Tesla Life, and you can also follow our YouTube page, The Tesla Life Show. Thanks very much.
Please do look for their shiny red logo on YouTube at the Tesla Life on Twitter. It's a must follow, if nothing else, just to harass Mark a little bit, which I do every once in a while. I think I actually harassed you a couple of times this week. So
You did
thanks
this
to
week.
that.
Absolutely.
Speaking of harassing, let's go to our next story. Let's go to Mr. Kacey Green.
Oh yes. So y'all know I like electric vehicles, plugs only.
You do?
So I do. So Mercedes-Benz was testing out their e-Actos. These are their was it Class 7 trucks? And so we got some photos of it, and I was enjoying what I was seeing, so I figured I'd share it with the group.
Yay, please
I
do.
imagine they were.
And Casey, for those of us who aren't aware, what is a Class 7 truck?
It's the one step down from a semi-truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So large commercial vehicle, but not the big tractor trailer combo.
Not too far from it.
Not too far. Okay.
So these would be what are referred to in the trucking industry as straight trucks, 24, 26, 28 feet trucks.
Oh, okay. Mark would know, right?
Mark would know. Yeah. And, they were just doing their winter testing, so that's, you want to do your frozen testing and you want to do your desert testing. And so this is the perfect season to do that. And we should expect to see them probably the end of the year, I would expect.
There is a big push on trucking. There seems to be a number of manufacturers, even current ones that are manufacturing ICE vehicles. So Volvo and Freightliner and others are all looking at the different battery options for them because they can see the writings on the wall. They've already seen it happen in the automotive industry, the normal car industry. They can see it starting to happen in the pickup truck and SUV segment. They know it's coming for them. So anybody with with some sort of skin in the game should be preparing for this coming their way.
Absolutely. There's several countries that have already banned on the passenger car side, light duty stuff, and then there's a couple that have gone further and put out guidance for their heavy duty and their commercial large vehicles. So they don't really have a choice if they want to stay in business.
Yeah, you're looking at these trucks and the amount of diesel that they're spewing on a daily basis, and the millions of these things that are on the road. Yeah, the quicker we can convert these big guys, the better. And how many times have we said it's usually a fixed route? They know exactly how many miles they're going to drive. They're purchased by fleet managers that don't just look at the initial sticker. They look at the overall cost of operations and maintenance for 10 or 15 years of a vehicle's life. Yeah, these are going to be a huge hit. And Casey's exactly right. When they see the writing on the wall, they know that these fleet manufacturers, the fleet purchasers, are going to be gobbling these things up as fast as they can make them.
Yeah, and it's not just the governments that are forcing this. Literally, the first time that you get the smaller vehicle in your fleet, you get say the company shuttle, and these guys see that they are in the shop a tenth of the time that their fossil vehicles are, and they use a 20th of the fuel or less if they have the solar array on site. They're like, they're seeing green. They're like, why can't we do this with our pickup trucks, our vans, and our big trucks? Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're ordering 20,000 trucks, Mercedes is going to listen to what you want.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for that, Casey. Let's go to Tony about an exciting new arms race.
Yeah. So one of my favorites online sources for information is Canada's National Observer.
Are you making fun of a Canadian media organization, Tony?
If you can't trust the Canadians, who can you trust? I mean, really.
Look at that guy. I mean, I don't know if I trust him.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mark's just gonna I'm bailing on this show. The hell with it.
Yeah,
I don't need this crap.
Anyway, I did stumble upon this in the National Observer, Canada's National Observer, and they were talking about what they called the new battery arms race. And we've been on this show talking about the electrification of transportation for 10 years now, and talking about 0.5% market penetration, a 1% market penetration. I think we're up to almost 3% market penetration just for consumer vehicles now globally. And already we're starting to see battery constraints and having to bring more battery factories online, which means at 3%, if we are seeing battery shortages just for 3% of new vehicles, just try to extrapolate that out for the other 97%. And you're looking at massive amounts of battery manufacturing. Add on to that the fact that individual consumers, municipalities, and individual companies are looking at energy storage, typically done through batteries. So, a lot of potential for growing a business or a country through either supplying the materials, the minerals that go into batteries, or being one of these, a country that can spit out these batteries highly efficiently, extremely quickly, and less expensive than others. And that's where the National Observer has dubbed this an arms race, because it is now a race with all of the other regions and companies to see who's going to come out on top as the leading battery supplier. And there's an interesting statistic here that said that, my brain went there and then I had to find it. So by 2030, it's estimated that China will hold 67% of battery capacity, Europe will hold 18%, and North America will hold 12%. So
is that
just
counting,
looking at that, yeah.
Is that counting the our favorite CEO, the one that tweets a lot?
Yes. And talking about China as a region, and of course, looking at where the factories are being opened, and in this, and some of it, like I said, this is a commodity. Well, I didn't say that, but I was saying we're looking at who can make them quickly, efficiently, and inexpensively. Batteries are a commodity. Now, you want the best commodity, of course, but you look at like iPhones and mobile phones, where they are being manufactured. You could look at it exactly the same way. A smartphone is an extremely expensive and highly technical commodity, but it is still just a commodity. And a huge percentage of them are manufactured in Asia because work is cheap. It's a lot less expensive to send all the materials there, do the labor and the manufacturing, and then ship the product out to the rest of the world. So it's really no surprise that they expect China to be taking over so much of the manufacturing.
It
And
makes
then you
sense.
look at, I was gonna say, and then you look at the distribution of the materials itself, the minerals, going into talking about the lithium and the copper and the aluminum, the graphite, the cobalt, the nickel, everything that goes into it. Where can they be mined? Where can they be mined efficiently? Where can they be mined that they're not going up against government regulations?
China.
China again, you know. So I mean, it's a really good article. It's lengthy. It touches a lot of really good points, but it just still just scratches the surface in what's going to be the future of battery manufacturing, and it does get you thinking. Where are the jobs going to be? Where are the batteries going to come from? Who's going to be supplying who with what? And is there any way to increase a North American percentage? Do we want to start pumping a lot of money into battery manufacturing in North America, in Canada, the United States, Mexico, maybe bring it on this side of the ocean? Or do we just let them do all the work? And then again, we just buy the commodities.
It's such a comfortable business model. We'll just let them do all the work.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be okay. I think the one thing we learned about during 2020 and COVID was that there are some sectors of manufacturing that have national security implications. And it's all well and fine to be exciting capitalists and make the most money and produce the stuff where it's the cheapest and all of that. But then something happens and all of a sudden you can't get something important. Maybe it's a vaccine, maybe it's masks, maybe it's batteries.
Yep. Or the computers for your car. Like I heard an article
Or the
this
chips
morning.
for your car.
Yeah, I heard an article this morning that we are now opening an investigation to see how we can get around this corner we've painted ourselves into regarding critical infrastructure like cars, computers, batteries, and it makes perfect sense that China would be the largest place for this to happen because just like with shipping of other goods, you don't really want your wet goods to be shipped across the world. You want them to be a little closer to where they're going to end up because they're heavy. And we're talking about a metal box full of metal and minerals and a little bit of gel, and it only makes sense to get it close to where it's going to end up for final assembly.
Right.
Yeah. But it would be nice to not see us paint ourselves back into that corner that we just realized we were already in.
Yeah, I was reading through this article, and it's talking about how the countries are positioning themselves, how they're looking at the future now, and they're making moves and working with government organizations and working with companies and and mining outlets. And I was just thinking, oh great! And here in the United States, we're trying to crank out the most offensive memes in order to own the snowflakes, deny climate change, and whatever silliness, anti-vaccine stupidity. Like, great. So, yay.
Bill Gates wants in my bloodstream. Never mind, I'm
Yes.
carrying around a GPS-enabled tracking device 24/7.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
I
I mean,
did.
this is like just another if you want to call it an arms race, but it's another race, if you will, that honestly I just don't think the United States even stands a chance of even owing up
not
to
way
this
we've been.
fight. No,
Yeah.
we can't even hold elections without fighting over them for 5 months. There's no way we're going to maintain public policy long enough between administrations and pendulum swings on regulations to keep a battery factory up and running.
All we gotta do is get that thumb off the scale that's helping the fossils, because once the bean counters get involved, they'll realize that it's a waste, and they will move quickly.
They should have been involved a long time ago. I don't know
Yes.
what they're waiting for.
Well, because the
Yeah.
thumb was on the scale, it was cheaper to keep with what had been going on for the last 100
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So I mean, again, National Observer, Canada's National Observer, the battery arms race. I think it's a well written article. It does make you think, where are we? How did we get here? Where are we going in the future? And then I put my negative spin in it because I just don't see the U.S. for one being a major player, simply because only adults are going to win this race, and we're not acting like adults.
Cynical, Tony. Very
Carry the
cynical,
water.
but probably right.
Probably right.
I don't know. What about Canada, Mark? Is Canada going to step up and...
No. we buy our batteries from you.
Oh my God!
You guys are
You
really
so
fucked.
screwed.
Yeah, you guys are screwed. Holy shit.
But there is
At least we get to make money selling batteries to Canada.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
There is a little bit of hope in it that everybody's trying to get nickel and cobalt. Oh, not nickel free, but cobalt free batteries. With the silicon and the lithium, you can get that anywhere. Lithium's the third most common element in the universe, and so if you can just make it so you're not, there's not so many cobalt deposits throughout the world. And that's the problem why. That's why the Congo is such a problem for us right now with the child labor, and so it's you just leave that whole country out, and then that immediately cuts your available supply because they haven't done enough to make it safe to get that and know you're getting a cruelty-free product.
Yeah. And to be fair, Canada does actually have a large domestic supply of a lot of the minerals that go into batteries. A lot of it is there and
They give it to
mineable.
us, and we give them back a finished product.
Yeah, well,
No, we sell to China,
sell it.
trying to make something,
to
you
China,
buy
yeah.
it, and then we buy it from you.
and, see, and I mean, but that is one of the things, and that was one of the things in the article, that the ability to process the raw materials and actually do the manufacturing is not yet built out in Canada. So that's where you are right now. The hope would be, of course, to become more self-sufficient moving forward. But these things take time. The factories take months and years to build and spin up.
But that's the beauty part of it right there, is that because there aren't enough, that we supply far is outstripped by demand. If you can get a factory up faster than your competitor does and make a better product, then you can survive long enough to keep selling after everything evens out. And until then, you're selling everything you want at whatever price you want.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly does look like the future, whether it's battery vehicles or battery electric machines. We're going to see a lot of things switching over to that. I mean, we've already seen power tools, obviously, and all that kind of stuff heading towards better, higher powered batteries. So it will be interesting to see who wins that race and sadly who loses. Canada. If your hope is buying batteries from us, you are so screwed.
Yeah.
So screwed. And you know what? Sometimes it's just not being the last person in line, right? That's the victory. Like, as long as somebody's in line behind you, it's no big deal.
Yeah, Iceland buys our batteries.
See, there you go, right? Right? Or it's Uruguay or who knows what, right?
You don't
It's
got to
something.
be faster than the bear. You got to be faster than your friend.
That's
Right,
That's
exactly, exactly. You don't have to be the fastest one. You just have to be a little bit faster than the guy in last place.
Yeah.
That's all. You're good. Let's do some shout-outs and go home. I think that was a fine show, gentlemen. Let me start with Mr. Kacey Green.
How's it going, everybody? Like I said, I've produced and released a number of videos since we last spoke, including some really fun and really intriguing ones. You can find them at youtube.com/KaceyGreen. That's KACEYGREEN.
do sign up and subscribe at Kacey's channel and check out his videos and leave comments. And I don't know. Do you get a lot of comments, Kacey?
I get a ton of comments.
Do you?
I like the ones that are like well thought out, but like I get a lot of them like, I just buy a gas car. It's like,
You're just a big dumbhead. Oh.
I can get gas in 2.5 minutes. No, you can't. I timed it. Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
And it's still getting gas, isn't it? So, like,
Yeah.
good for you. Yay.
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, while you're out there holding a dirty hose for 7 minutes in the freezing cold, I'm just waking up out of my bed and just driving off.
Yeah. And speaking of comments, real quick, I want to give a shout out to the person who commented on one of our articles last week with the well thought out and finally articulated comment of not true. Yes. Impressive.
Irrefutable.
I didn't know where to go with that. Absolutely irrefutable. Yeah.
Irrefutable.
Which
and,
part?
and for the record, Tony and I do actually participate on the What Drives Us comment. So chances are, if you say something, you will get one of us to respond.
And we feel that it's worth replying to.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
always, but usually.
Get
Mr.
some
Mark
good ones.
Coughlin.
I would like to ask you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to What Drives Us by clicking on that little button there to subscribe. It's free. It's not going to get any cheaper, so you may as well do it now. And secondly, if you've already subscribed, please give us a thumbs up. That's going to help us in the YouTube algorithm and push our name forward to get new people, new eyeballs on the show. And that would be really appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Coughlin. And listen to what he says. He's a wise man. Except when he's wrong. Which he usually isn't, but there it is anyway. Tony Schaefer, my friend, bring us home.
Hey, I don't know where you got this episode. If you're listening to it, it could have been Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn, iTunes. I don't know what. If you're listening to the show while you are charging your Tesla on TuneIn, why? You should listen to the Tesla Life. I mean, come on. Much more intelligent show. But yeah,
What?
make sure you
Wait,
subscribe.
what? Oh.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
got a podcast
I
today.
I call it as it is, man. I'm telling the truth.
That hurts, Tony.
If you are listening to the audio, do us a huge favor and head over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Give us that. Yes, the audio does get us promoted on the audio outputs, but YouTube helps put us in front of more eyes and gets us. So just do us that quick favor. It won't cost you a thing. Let's see. If you want to read the news that we're reading, make sure you look for us on Facebook at facebook.com/drivesus. Patrick Connor keeps the news flowing there. And if you use Splitboard as a news aggregator like I do, then make sure you look for the What Drives Us magazine. Philip Barclay, a unfortunate Winnipeg Jets fan, throws some news in there along with me. Actually, it's funny. Philip and I do text hockey some nights, and it was Hockey Night in Canada, and it's probably a very good thing that the Hawks and the Canadians aren't playing because we'd be going toe to toe on text. But yeah, so make sure you find us online, subscribe, whatever.
That me?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm rambling.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I want to remind you, as I did at the beginning of the show, so we have a new membership option on YouTube. You can go to our membership. Thank you. Casey's saying down there, click on something. What is it, Casey?
Join. It'll say join. It's right
Click
next
on
to the
join.
subscribe button. Yeah.
You can see exclusive content that we make just for you. Right now, there's a few things. Like I said, there's a cool discussion with Patrick Connor and I about the future of EVs. There's a little news story that I did, and there's going to be more stuff popping up all the time. So we appreciate that. We desperately need your support. It's $1.99 a month, which is undoubtedly the best value in entertainment you can get. And I say that knowing that Netflix is like, what, $12 a month now? Yeah, I remember Netflix was like $5 a month. Jeez. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I remember when they used to mail me CDs. That's how old I am. But no one cares. Anyway, so check that out. Check out the membership option. Check out the cool stuff that we're posting in there. As always, I want to thank Michael Mannering for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. I want to thank Tony Schaefer, Mark Coughlin, and Kacey Green, but not myself, for being here and doing a great show tonight. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate all of your hard work. And of course, as always, I appreciate all of your support, whether you're listening to us in the car or watching us on your phone or on your desktop. Thank you so much, because we do the show for you. Download us next week and find out what drives us.
It's there. I hear it.
That's weird. Where did our music go? It's freaking me out. Have a great week, everybody.
Hey,
Thank you.
everyone.